My name is Nicole Mortis, and my partner is Walda. We are in Mr. Ford's World Wars class at Rome Free Academy. Today we are interviewing Thomas Corigliano. He is a third-class sonarman in the U.S. Coast Guard, and today's date is December 9th, 2004. Please state your name, rank, and branch of service.
Thomas Corigliano, Seaman third class, sonar third class. And what else is there?
Your branch of service. You are the U.S. Coast Guard.
I was the U.S. Coast Guard, and I was third class sound operator.
Did you enlist or were you drafted?
I enlisted.
Why did you enlist?
Well, the war was just starting, and I just got out of high school, and the time was either I'd be drafted or I'd enlist. I probably would have been drafted.
Do you remember where you were when you heard about the attack of Pearl Harbor?
Not exactly, no.
What did you think? What was going through your head when you heard about it?
Well, it was tough to hear, you know, that we were attacked at that time.
Where and when did you enlist?
I enlisted in Albany.
Do you remember when it was?
1942, in December 1942.
Where were you sent for your basic training?
Manhattan Beach on Staten Island.
What was that like?
It was a good training that we had. We had captain of the port training, and we went out on whaleboats. It was right on the ocean there. And all the manual barns, we went through the whole bit of training.
Where were you sent after your basic training?
Let me think now, I gotta go way back. We went to Pier, I forget the name of the pier, but there we were for a while. And then I was called to go to sonar school. And after that training, I was put aboard a Coast Guard cutter, subchaser.
What's sonar mean?
Sonar, underwater sound. When you send out a signal, and then it comes back, and you get the distance and the location of the sub.
Oh, that's cool. So, what were your duties and skills as a sonar man?
Well, that was it. We had to locate, send out the signals as we were patrolling. We were patrolling the whole East Coast. And we sent out the signals, and if we ever made contact with any object, then we'd either have to chase it or drop what we called ash cans, but they were depth charges.
Were you ever under fire?
Oh, yes.
Where?
Well, and mostly in the Normandy Beach, during the Normandy Invasion, and along the coast there. The Normandy Invasion, we were patrolling there, and the ships were being attacked, you know. That's about it right there. And I was trying to think of some of the incidences. And we lost a boat there.
You did?
Yeah, the boat went down.
The boat that you were on?
Yeah. And a freighter picked us up.
And you got on board? Did a lot of the people on your ship?
No, we're only a crew of about 20.
Only 21?
Yeah.
Did they all survive?
No, everybody survived. We had time to get off, so it wasn't bad. And the freighter brought us back to England, and then we was put on another cutter and went back to France.
Did you ever get injured?
No, I was lucky. Close, but not,
You got close to being injured?
I was close, but never.
What went through your mind, like, when Normandy Invasion?
Well, I was scared.
Yeah.
You didn't know you know, what would happen. But you're so busy doing what you have to do, you know. Airplanes above and firing and all that, you know, you're busy. So,
Yeah, you don't have time to think about it.
No.
What was your daily life like on the ship that you lived on? Like, did you have a routine every day? Did you have a routine that you followed daily?
Well, the routines changed a lot. We had good times too. In other words, when we went ashore, we always had a good time. And aboard, we had duties to do, you know, and they changed.
What would be like a typical day?
Well, seamen. Just every day, yeah. Every day, you know.
How was your equipment compared to the enemy's equipment?
Well, the Germans were pretty far ahead of us at that time. Their guns and their... I was in England. Can I say something about that day I want to say?
Yeah, anything you want.
Okay. Before the invasion, I was in England, before we got our boat. Let me start back a little bit.
Yeah, start from the beginning.
After we were patrolling the United States coast, because the Germans were knocking off our ships right off the coast. You could see, from the coastline, you can almost see our ships being blown up by the German subs. So our job was to patrol that whole coast. And so after our duty was done there, we had word that we were going over to England to get ready for the Normandy Invasion. So we went aboard the Queen Mary. The Queen Mary was a troop transport at the time. And we went under the Queen Mary. The Queen Mary had no escort. She was fast enough to avoid the subs. So we went by ourselves. You know, usually they go in a convoy. Mm-hmm. But Queen Mary went by herself. We went up the North Atlantic and over there. We got to Scotland. And from Scotland, we took a train. Well, after a few days, we took a train and went to England. And to London. And at that time, the German planes were coming over daily. And when our Air Force got there, they almost, eliminated the German airplanes. But then the Germans started sending over these rockets. The first rockets they sent over, what they called them, the buzz bombs. It sounded like a motorboat overhead. And they would just drop and they could hit any place, you know. And the English people were, at nighttime anyhow, they would sleep in the subways, a lot of them anyhow. And that happened for a while, and then they invented the V2 bomb. You couldn't hear those. And they were sent over from Germany, or France, wherever. And then they were landing all over the place. And they pretty well, they say destroyed London, but they did quite a bit. And we were close every time that one of those would hit, you didn't know, you know. And that was it. And like I say, we were getting ready for the Normandy Invasion. We just heard the time would come, you know, it would be close. So we waited, and finally we got the word that we had to go over. So the day that we were supposed to go over, it started the storm. It was awful bad. The English Channel was bad. So they called it off until the next day. And that's when we went over. And it was a big, massive ships, maybe thousands, hundreds, whatever, a big armada, in other words.
Yeah.
And they made these big blocks of cement, maybe bigger than this room. They were even towed over to make a little, as they got there, they make it like a little harbor so that the ships could land on the coast. And that coast was all lined up with barriers. They must have known we were going there, you know. And the first troops that went there, they got massacred. My first troops that went ashore there. And we tried to pick them. We were running right along the coast as they were going in. Big guns, the Germans had. Real big guns. They had in the pillars, and they were pretty well armored, you know. And the sea was pretty rough. They couldn't get the big ships, you know, the freighters. They had cargo and all. They couldn't empty the ships to get their cargo ashore, so a lot of them went right up on shore at high tide. But this was after, you know. And when the tide went down, the ships would be right on the land. And they emptied the cargo like that. It was great, you know. But the first Army troops that went in, they got slaughtered. They were messed, yeah.
Did everyone, all the guys in your unit, did you all get along well?
Oh, yeah. We had to, sure. Small, you know. And we went out together too, and you know, in England we had, you know, we had our good times too, you know. And in France too. We, you know, when the troops were moving ahead, we went ashore and I often remember this. There was a little old man walking on the, I mean, I'm old now. I'm just saying he was a little old man. He was walking along the country road there, and he had a bucket on his back. So I just walked him back of him. I had 2 packs of cigarettes. I didn't smoke. I've never smoked in my life. I had 2 packs of cigarettes, and I just dropped them in this can. He never knew they were there. And I often wondered when he saw those cigarettes, you know, maybe wonder where the heck they came from. And I always remember that what happened, you know, to this guy when he saw that cigarette.
Why did you do that? Just to do it?
Just to do it. A joke or whatever. Just to, you know. I keep wondering about that, you know, a miracle. In other words, to him it must have been a miracle. Look at the can and buy 2 pack cigarettes. Cigarettes were hard to get, but I never smoked, and I was given cigarettes from the Red Cross or something or whatever, and that's fine.
Have you received any medals or awards?
Congressional. Yeah, I had a congressional medal. Commendation. That's about it. Okay.
What was your motivation to keep going when you were over there? What kept you going?
Just had to, that's all. That's about it. I had to do what you had to do. And waiting for the day, maybe when you would get discharged, you know.
How long
I missed home really, but
How long were you over there for?
Almost 4 years. Just about 4 years. But before it was time to get out of, we left France and we were in England, we almost had word that we were going to go to the Pacific after that. They were still fighting in the Pacific. And then after the atomic bomb, we settled things in the Pacific. We were ready to come home. And went home in a freighter to the United States. That was bad, you know. And Then I had, like I said, I had a German machine gun, an English 303 rifle, a carbine. I wasn't supposed to have it, but I picked it up, and then we had, on our boat, we can put things away, When we got to the States, this was dangerous, really. I wrapped it up, plus some armor-piercing bullets and all that there. I wrapped them all up in the blanket, put it in a sea bag, and went through the mail to the house. Couldn't do that today.
No way. Who do you remember best from your service and why?
Who do I remember best? Well, the Queen Mary, she wasn't a queen. She was a princess at the time. Met her in London.
Queen Elizabeth?
What did I say?
Queen Mary.
Uh,
The shit, that's alright.
the mind is not there.
Now tell me the story of how did you meet her?
No, she was on an army truck, and we saw her there. It was near Buckingham Palace, and they were young girls. Her and her sister were young girls at the time. Maybe about your age, maybe. Yeah. And we just went up to her.
And then we started talking to her?
Well, very little.
She was a princess then? That's so cool. What experience left the greatest impression on you, and what did you learn from it?
Was the greatest impression?
Greatest influence.
Oh, I don't know. I met a lot of people. You probably wouldn't know Jack Dempsey. He was a boxer at the time, one of the best boxers around at that time. And he was a commander.
Alright. Who's your commander?
Well, I was commander of the Coast Guard. And, well, like I say, what other impressions? I don't know.
Was Jack Dempsey a nice commander? Did you like him? Did you guys get
Oh,
along?
yeah. And come over, shook our hand. In fact, I got his picture with his autograph. I still got it. And I'm sorry that I lost all those very beautiful pictures from on the boat and the whole Normandy coast there. We were taking pictures while we were doing there. They all got lost. This is about the only thing that's left, really.
That's a good one.
Because I had it in my wallet.
Here, hold it up and then the camera will zoom in.
In fact,
What are you holding?
it's on a 20 millimeter gun.
Oh.
Just to take a good look at it.
Did you get it?
Let me see it.
That was on a 20 millimeter gun.
So what were you shooting at?
Well, that was just a, the fact that the cameraman came from the United States government. They wanted to take pictures with doing it, so that was mostly a pose anything. That was no. But that we did shoot at planes from like that, but that was mostly a.
Right.
In fact, that picture there was put in the Room Sentinel.
Really?
They said that the War Department sent it to the Room Sentinel. Now, my family didn't know. When they saw that picture, well, I was lost. But they called up the Sentinel and found out it was, pictures were sent by the War Department.
Yeah. What's that picture cut out from the paper?
Right here, well, this just happened recently,
When did that happen?
during the Normandy Invasion
Anniversary?
anniversary, yeah, just recently. We must have a date on there, I don't know. It was held in the park here. And the city did this.
They gave you that award?
Yeah.
Let's go, hold that up, hold that picture up so the camera can get it.
This one here?
Uh-huh. That is Mr. Corigliano receiving recognition from Mayor James Brown. Got it? Would you support your son's decision or daughter's decision if they wanted to join the military? And what advice would you have for a young person joining the military?
It would be their decision. They want to go, and, you know. But my son is 58 years old.
Right.
But if I did have a son, it would be like me. It was my decision. I went. I'm 1 out of 10 in the family. We were 10.
Did any of your other brothers or sisters?
No,
You were the only one?
I was the only one.
None of
I was the only one of age, and I had an older brother, but he had a job where they wouldn't have to go.
Drafting.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on the war in Iraq?
It's a mess. But I think it's got to be done. I don't know, there are bad people over there. Commit suicide, you know. Imagine when people are there committing suicide or bombing themselves. It's crazy. But I don't know how you can counteract that when people are that way. In fact, during World War II, the German kamikaze, not the German, I'm sorry, there you go. The Japanese kamikaze, it's the same thing with their planes. They would dive, you know, commit suicide, dive right into a ship with their planes.
Did you see that happen?
No, this happened in
Pacific.
the Pacific, yeah.
Do you have any more, like, any stories, any final thoughts, any words you want to say?
Oh, there's so many that my mind just doesn't work. I'm in good shape and everything, but the mind just, you know, I'm not as cool as I used to be. And memory, a lot of memory. In fact, talking about memory, my son, he didn't know what I did until just maybe when this happened.
Really?
He didn't know that. I never talked about him until my war experiences or anything.
Why?
I don't know.
He never knew that you...
No, I said, well, in fact, when he said, Dad, what's the story on that? What did you do? And there he was 57 years old.
Wow.
Never talked about it.
So you were all over the Atlantic, right?
Oh, yeah.
England,
The North Atlantic and running, you know, most of the East Coast.
What do you think?
Anti-submarine. Yeah.
What do you think of the people over there?
Pardon?
What did you think of the people over there?
Where?
Over in other countries?
Oh, in England. And, well, we went over to Scotland. And we spent a little time in Scotland. I liked English people. I had a good time there. And our bands are there. Glenn Miller, I don't know if you've heard Glenn Miller. He was one of the big bands at the time. But he got lost over the channel while he was in England. He was performing in England. In fact, I saw him there in England. And his plane got lost and never knew what happened to him.
Okay, no more final words?
Oh, I think I've had enough. Is that all right?
Yeah, you did good.